tuning into Back Alley Gamers.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Back Alley Gamers. It's Alex, and I'm back with some DOS Retro. Today we're diving into the first city sim I think I've ever played, Emperor: Rise of the Middle Kingdom. This is a game that has ingrained itself into the memories of my childhood. I still can't think of a city sim game that has had such an impact on how I experience this genre of games as did Emperor: Rise of the Middle Kingdom for me. Not just when I probably originally played it well before I was 10 years old, but also the many times I've tried to return to it and tried to master it. So, just like in some of the RTS games that we've done on this series, we're going to do the single-player campaign, do a couple missions there, get reacquainted with where this game is at, its mechanics, and see how comfortable I can become with it, and then we'll jump into, well, in this case it would be a skirmish, it's not an RTS, so we'll jump into just the general kind of like sandbox play space after a few missions of the initial campaign. So let's go ahead and get started. I think I probably have some old stuff here, and I was doing some testing, so we're going to delete this guy here. Like I said, I did some testing to make sure this recorded well. I didn't want to jump in and lose a lot of time trying to record this. So let's go ahead and make a new emperor. We're going to call him, let's call it Bags for us, for the series here. There are a huge list of historical names, but I'm not even going to try to dabble in that. We can also choose our zodiac animal. And I think growing up, I used to almost always go with dragon. But today, I'm feeling like a rat. So we're going to go with a rat. For now, we're going to start in the historical campaign. We're just going to do the first, I think, couple tutorial missions just to get reacquainted with the gameplay, understand what we're looking at, and then from there, after a couple missions in, depending on how long it takes me tonight, we'll jump into open play. So, let's go ahead and get started. Just kind of like a brief summary of what we're looking at. But our main goal is 150 people in the plain cottage or better. Kind of like a little Gamepedia here. Tell us what we're looking for, what we're looking at. Now, if I remember correctly, I'm really trying to remember. I do believe building cities in kind of like this loop order, because the AI denizens of your empire are not the smartest when it comes to pathing. So the more branching paths you have road-wise, the more lost your workers will become, especially the ones that are trying to like give out services, whether that's food, water, security, safety, medicine, all that stuff. Now, when it comes to like the job ones where they're like hunting, mining, gathering food, stuff like that, doesn't seem to matter as much. So with that, you can kind of do whatever you want. But when it comes to the pathing for the people who are usually providing services, you really want to have as little of like that crisscross grid stuff that you would see in maybe more modern day city sims like City Skylines or even SimCity for that matter. And what you really want to do is just have like this either really big single loop path, just a big circle they stay in, right? Because you can build these little road blockers to just kind of keep them in that little loop path. So that way you just know that the service providers will just go in that circle all day, every day. We're going to give them shelter. Perfect. Talking about road access here. Thirst for nothing. So this is, of course, the wells. We want the wells to provide water. As the water carrier and inspector make their rounds, they might wander off the road loop. See, and they talk about this loop here. Each time a roaming walker comes to an intersection, it must make a decision about which way to proceed. And so this is where we kind of bring in roadblocks. See, even the game recommends loops when it comes to like your housing. And I think to start, we're just going to be able to hunt. That's a lot of hunters there. So we got to be kind of mindful of our workers. We also have a mill we need to place, which will house our food. Okay, we also got to worry about the religion. Okay, and I think once they get all those services, they upgrade to something better. So let's kind of go ahead and just plan out some of our stuff. So already, okay. I was trying to drag to move. Already the feng shui is pretty bad here, but I'm not too worried about the feng shui of this building in particular. Now, I think the only problem is it does kind of give me some oddities when it comes to what I can place after that. It's not too big of a deal. I could just do gardens later in the game to kind of like create some divide. And I'm going to try to keep, because if I remember correctly, you want to kind of build the walls around the edges of the path to create more beautification. So you really want a lot of stuff inside those walls. I think I already messed with the audio as much as I can. Let me just verify. Yeah. Like I said, I did hop into, like, I think an open play really quick just to make sure things were looking clean for OBS over here. So, why did I suddenly get beautification here? I actually genuinely don't know what I did. And I know I'll need an entertainer at some point, too. And I don't really know if I want to build a road network here. Like I said, I don't want to confuse people too much, because I could just leave this for beautification of some form. You might think, oh, maybe you want, like, something to kind of, like, split this grid up. You really don't. Doing that is going to be an absolute pain in the butt to do. I'm sure there's going to be some people who might stumble across this video and tell me I'm doing it very much wrong, but that's fine. Lots of sounds right now, getting bombarded by them, but that's totally a-okay. We also want to put a watchtower here to make sure people don't go crazy. Let's not forget about... Oh! It's too late. He's long gone. Hopefully he finds his way back. And then we're going to go ahead and put us a mill, I think just right there. Because, again, we're just doing the tutorial mission, so I'm not too worried about the game being quote-unquote beautiful or anything like that. And then I'm going to put a roadblock here. But I do believe we built everything we need to build, so that's great. 2 hunters should be enough to start getting some supplies. I won't build the food stall until I see some more food kind of pop in. So I guess I'll kind of like talk about this game a bit more. Obviously, it's by the now defunct Sierra, and I'm holding onto the box here, the current game case I have for this. I had a jewel case floating around at one point. I don't know if they ever did a big box for this game, like the old early 2000s PC box that everybody's quite used to. My current CD is in great condition, and I still have the CD key because, you know, DRM in old school games was a lot different. So I kind of want to speak about that DRM really quick, actually. So the copy I own of this game is the 3rd copy I have now had of this game, and the reason being to that is the first copy, I think, you know, young kid, not really taking care of his games very well. I don't have a lot of games that have survived very well from, you know, prior to being probably 14 and under, really. And Emperor Rise of Middle Kingdom is a game that I just used and abused, scratched to hell and back. So the first case was gone, or the first CD was gone. So at some point I had gotten a second one, and I think because I grew up in, you know, a holler in the country of North Georgia, the thrift stores up there were just, you know, gems for finding, you know, games. People turning them in, getting rid of them. Usually people maybe passing away, sadly, or moving, or whatever. So there was always a massive collection of really cool PC games specifically. It was crazy. It's funny, too, because I think the LGR guy, Lazy Game Reviews, is also from, like, that Western North Carolina area. So I'm not very far from wherever he lives. And so it's just interesting now that I look back and I'm like, you know, I was just as blessed as he was in the sense that there was just such a great selection of games. Not anymore. They've been picked clean. People know about it too much these days to go looking in those areas for those games. And also Facebook Marketplace exists, and people can easily quickly find the value of what they have. But back in the day, prime picking up in that area, especially for PC games, for some odd reason. Anyways, I had came across Emperor Rise of Middle Kingdom at a thrift store. It was the jewel case at that point. I don't remember what my original copy was. It might have been more similar to what I have now. I genuinely don't remember. But I know that the second purchase I had gotten was the jewel case. And in that jewel, not saying dual, jewel, when I bought it, I completely forgot about old games having their DRM being CD keys. And the CD key for that game just did not exist in the case at all, period. And so I just had this useless... I mean, I remember because I was still young, didn't know too much knowledge on the internet, unlike now, you know, as an IT guy, but, you know, heavily trying to find ways that I can find accessible CD keys and make the game work. And at that time, at least, I couldn't find anything that ever did. Sadly, I think I just ended up tossing it because I just found it useless. And that was before I was really starting to collect stuff for like PC games anyways. So I ended up throwing that one away. And then the current case I have now, I think I also stumbled across at a thrift store somewhere just later on in life. And it's in perfect condition with the CD key, but so I just have the digital release on Galaxy. Having retro older games on Galaxy these days just makes so much sense, even for somebody who like me who loves to collect old PC box games, it just makes a lot of sense not to hassle with, you know, Windows, trying to find the right settings to run anything that, especially, God forbid, it ran on Windows Live. So, anyways, that's like my little story with the ownership of the game. And, you know, the experience of it, to be quite honest with you, I don't think I was ever really good at City Sims. I still don't think I'm really that great at City Sims. I mean, I've dabbled, you know, probably dozens and dozens of hours into City Skylines, which is nothing to what people usually put into that game. But yeah, just not necessarily good at these types of games. City Sims just never really spoke to me all that much, but for some odd reason, this one, its historical context, its artistic style as well. Just, I mean, these sprites look awesome. I wonder why these guys are not there. They've got food, they've got everything else. We should be able to tell by seeing distribution. One thing I will say about this game, replaying it, the ambiance sounds are on repeat. Repeat, 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 repeat. It's almost too much. I might end up, you know, genuinely, if I'm not really getting much out of it, let's just take the ambiance sounds off. And let's just leave it with nice music. Oh my gosh. Peace in the freaking brain. The ambiance sounds, I think if I were to review this game now, that would be a heavy, like, negative point from me as somebody who's very, like, sensitive to hearing. Just too much. And on repeat, too. Like, it's constant ambience. Like, you got chickens, you got people, you got things knocking and dingling and dangling. You got all kinds of stuff going on. And I think it's just too much. So turning that off has alleviated my pains in my hearing. The appeal of the neighborhood is too low. I just forgot I could just right-click and read a thing there. Well, how do I get the appeal up? These give appeal. So if I did... Hold on. Let's just cheat it. Nice. I'll delete this once I get my gardens and my wall in, because that'll raise the appeal. And I can't see the aesthetics rating there. Alright, we're over it, so I think we gotta wait till the next month clock's over. Well done! Thank you. Score 90. Ooh. Alright, so we're going for the attractive cottage, which I think is like the stone brick one. I actually have a bit of a dumb idea. Sure, that makes no sense. But I don't care. Alright. How many workers do we need? 20! Alright. Well, we got 2 new nice little cabins here, so that'll bring in some more people. And this will bring in some more cottages. Did they call their homes cottages then? I wonder. I wonder if it would have been a smarter idea to build a farm out here, you know? The game does kind of tell you to come this way, because I think irrigation, you get close to the river. Alright, so that took a little bit of waiting, but we have now hit our goal for the attractive cottage. Mostly just sitting there waiting. So I think this will be the last tutorial mission we do, and then we'll jump into the sandbox experience. Alright, oh, and now we have access to music. They do celebrations. I think they also like go to the, yeah, you'll see like the guy walking around with the banner, and they'll set up some stuff music-wise in the market. All right, here's the paying homage system, which we'll find in the religious tab here. And of course, I think that it's also based off of resources too. Like there's a certain type of resource will do better than others, and then you can just give it out. And then she has to get to a certain rating before she'll appear. And so I guess we have to have her out and about for 2 months. Now we need employees. That changed real quick, didn't it? Unemployment is a problem. We have nobody. Let's do the red wall. Yeah. We're severely unemployed currently, but that's fine. We're just kind of like readjusting our employment very fast. Somehow I already have the higher level house. Do you not need ceramics for this house? let's go ahead and give this lady some meat and get that started. Because we want to get that started as fast as possible, because it does take a while, if I remember correctly, to get her to a point where, like, we're getting some stuff out of it. So let's go ahead and also say that we will get those resources. Still need 51 workers, but hopefully with the constant influx of people coming in, we'll be fine here. And again, all new homes here, they gotta get placed out. Is there... speed options! Oh, that's way too fast. This is okay. There's speed options. Of course there is. Of course there is. All right, we lost some food, but we have a Happy New Year, and there they go. Yeah, I think this is not the best idea, but I just need to really find a way to use this space a bit better. Now, I do know there's people that make like this spiral kind of thing that goes in. I got to figure out how to do that. I say it like it's like a big thing to do, but... Alright, so I think Exalted's as high as we go. Look how tall she is. Holy shit. She's like a giant. Alright, and then we just gotta keep it one more month, and I think we're actually good to go, because we have all the houses. Let me check the objective. Yep. Oh, I hate hitting that, and it's like, you will lead the game, and I get a little scared. And then hopefully the next... there we go, we did it. Perfect. Much better score than last time. Perfect. Here we go. The menu's a little ancient. So that concludes the campaign portion of this video. Just kind of like getting accustomed to the game experience again. Similar to how we've been breaking down the other DOS Retro games that we've been playing. So moving forward, we're going to jump into open play. Now, I haven't done this in a long time. I do know that the ages will dictate what is accessible to you in the game, and I do believe, obviously, later eras have more things to do. But if I remember correctly, depending on, I mean, if you start in the Bronze Age, time will advance to a certain degree. At some point, you will get to the other two ages. I don't think we're gonna be able to do that today. Not even close. Not for the video's sake. But we're gonna just kind of like go with, you know, normal everything, really, and we'll let it be random. We'll let it do all of its stuff. Got a big river, which means lots of bridges, which also means we don't have a lot of even ground to work with. Most likely the best place to build a city would probably be like here or here. But the farming regions here are going to be rough. We do have some ores to mine. Yeah, we have iron ore. And we also have stone. What else do we have? We do have some game. We have the boar on both sides, so that makes it easier. We also have stone down here, a good chunk of it with some access. I don't see gators or crocs or wherever they are, so that's a good... I don't see fish, though. You give me this big river, but no fish at all? I'm a little torn on this one. I really don't know if I like this map yet or not. Because the two road accesses they gave me are on this side of the map and not up here, which really sucks. Because building here doesn't feel great, to be honest with you. Building here feels a bit more comfortable. And to do that, I'll need to build bridges, but they have, I mean, they have placed some rocks in absolutely terrible locations. We'll just do that for now. Spending some cash just to kind of like get this place looking decent. All right. So again, I see a lot of people doing kind of like a spiral design of sorts. Specifically large enough to fit in that. But that's crazy. I wish I could see it without building it, because how expensive is this? Oh, it's only $250. Be this big. I'm not going to make the full circle like that just yet, just so I kind of know where it needs to be. Okay. Getting some thoughts here. Getting some thoughts. And then we want it big enough for, I think everything else that we really need just needs to be 2. Except for the palace. We'll kind of figure that out. Could maybe do it in a different square. We know we're going to have our buildings, so let's just kind of like... We'll use a statue as like a placemat of sorts. And so we're going to want an inner wall like that. And I think here... Actually... See, I'm already thinking. We want to go in 3... So we could do... Oh, I've already goofed up. Again. I need my dog statue to know where my stuff is. Dog statue, tell me where I'm at. Again, I don't really care if things are a little tight, per se. So, now comes the kicker. Where do you place your services? I mean, if anything, I could just slap it, like, through here somewhere. Just kind of go with the flow. But we'll see here in a minute. Because I will need to start worrying about taxes at some point for money. It's interesting that they didn't go in there. Whatever. As long as they're getting their amenities, that's all that matters. Do we have enough people working here yet? No. 41 workers needed. And we're at 100 people. That's crazy. Where are they working? Yeah, like I said, even though we have the spiral here, this is there, so I might do, like, additional services from time to time as well. And, you know, depending on how things go, we could still put stuff on the other side of this here. So, like, up here, if we really need to, we can bam, 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 come down and throw some more stuff on the outer side of this road here, you know? So, service-wise, like, if we want more religion or whatever, all that fun stuff. Perfect. Got our first millet field here. And we should have just enough people for it. And then we'll also go ahead and slap down this guy here, roadblock for now. Just kind of keep things simple. But you know what? That means this thing could catch flame. We'll let building inspectors in. And then hopefully it doesn't catch flame. Hopefully. So what we'll do is we will create a road, right? And in that road, we'll specifically say the gate is open to these guys, right? Before they grow angry. Oh, is this where, like, they'll flood the shit out of me and stuff if I'm not fucking... Ooh. If I'm not paying them homage? That's crazy. And I think all of this can be flooded, too. That's the crazy part. Oh, there it is. Earthquake. Oh, wait, there are crocs up here. Alright, so... Boom, there we are. We got hemp to literally all these houses. That's awesome. Probably don't even need that anymore, honestly. You know what? I will actually delete that for now. So, we've got our stuff. We're going to get a lot more pop here very quickly. Very quickly. And the only thing they really need to go up in level is a music school and a herbalist. So we'll do herbalist. And we'll do a music school. Uh-oh. We goofed up a little bit, boys. We goofed up a little bit. That's a lot of people just were like, you know what? We're outie. So I'm really hoping we don't lose all that here that we just got. Again, a big problem is millet here. 1, 2. I'm not gonna lie. That lion just scared the absolute living shit out of me. Go back to... Look at that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That looks really bad, but whatever. All right. You know, I think this is a good stopping point. We're pretty much where we were at with the tutorial, and we kind of... I definitely think I've learned a good bit, and this feels a lot more functional. And can definitely be expanded upon on this end here. And yeah, the game is definitely scratching an itch of wanting to progress and get a lot out of it. I think I started hyper-focusing, so I don't think I'm definitely going to have some fun just editing out a lot of moments of silence over almost the last hour here of me just hyper-focusing on this area. Definitely got a lot to learn to kind of like be more seamless. So I don't spend too much money right out of the gate to set these things up. There's just a lot of stuff I could still probably get better at doing. I think what I should have done is kept this available for building out here and have that gap. Because once I have this beautification, I don't really need the wall just like right on it. I could have definitely spread out a bit more and put more in the area. Though I do have to kind of keep in mind that you only have so much map to really work with. Anyway, it's just a lot to learn, and honestly, it's been kind of relaxing coming back to this game, especially after such a long hiatus, and a bit of a fear of being overwhelmed or even overstimulated, really. City Sims kind of do that to me. I'm not exactly sure what my next game is going to be. Probably another RTS, honestly, because it's just my bread and butter. I love them. I grew up with them. Yeah, I just had an absolutely great time coming back to this childhood memory of a game for me. Definitely still need to get better at it. As you can tell, as I'm sitting here, things are falling apart. So there's definitely something I can still work on here to create a better feng shui, as the game says. So anyways, thank you again, everybody, for joining me on this episode of DOS Retro. Thanks for tuning in to Back Alley Gamers, and y'all have a great one.
Engage.